Mother, do you think they'll drop the bomb? Hello. Mother, do you think they'll like this song? Mother, do you think they'll try to break my balls? Mother, should I build a wall? Mother, should I run for president? Hello. I'm gonna do some Mailtaria. Mother, should I trust the government? Mother, will they put me in the firing line? Wow, is it just a waste of time? Let's do a Pink Floyd medley for old time's sake. My piano's gotten very out of tune, but that's all right. We're getting the Idaho piano tune this week. So you think you can tell heaven from hell, blue skies from pain. No, I haven't played this in a while. Hell, blue skies from pain. Can you tell a green field from a cold steel rail? A smile from a veil. Do you think you can tell? Did they get you to trade your heroes for ghosts? Hot ashes for trees, hot air for a cool breeze, cold comfort for change. Did you exchange a walk-on part in the war for a lead role in a cage? Say hi to the people. I say hi to my beautiful wife. Does anybody have any questions for my beautiful wife?
Hello.
Hey, boys. I know a lot of you guys like advice from Amy, especially the ladies.
Touch your feet while it's right.
Hey, boys. You having a good day? Everyone has to start soon. The Baldwin in the barn is beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, and Craigslist is a great resource for pianos. They're 1/20th the cost. So never buy a new piano. Amy, question. What's Amy's favorite thing at the Idaho Place from Coddington Bear, the sweet boy?
Well, I don't know. There's so many awesome aspects of it, but one of my favorite things is all the mature fruit trees.
Yeah, the fact we have mature fruit trees is
just
unreal.
So cool. I also,
Hi, Giles.
I love the layout of the barn. It's things I appreciate now in hindsight after, building up our land so much. It's the efficiency the barn was designed and the quality of the workmanship. And then, just all the mature, all the landscaping and the gardening is beautiful.
Yeah, and the fact we can, obviously our living quarters are much, much smaller, but I can go from alpaca to goat to chicken in like a 100-foot radius, which is insane. Like that's going to save us so much time and effort and stuff. Hi, Charlie. So, yeah, and the fact there's mature grapes and fruit is amazing. What else you guys got for AIM? Hi, Rebecca Bear. Men seek a wife like Amy and you will have a powerful partner for life. Fact. Very, very, very important to do that. And a lot of women are starting to see the lie that freedom is actually slavery. So we're going to see a lot of good women becoming wives in the future. Charles, what are you doing? Amy looks younger than before. Yeah, she's crushing, obviously. Amy, coral is your color. You look amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Not right now, boys. Don't do it right now. Amy, Mama's talking. Beautiful baby, Big Bear. Yeah, we're very happy, very blessed. Is it sad to leave Ursa Manor? Definitely, but we're not selling it, so that's a blessing.
It pulls at the heartstrings.
Yeah, I've gotten weepy. I've wept, definitely.
Because we weren't anticipating really leaving, so.
Yeah. But it's the right move.
It is.
It's the right move. Amy was born to rock babies. Yes. Mm-hmm. Anything new with Jack that she didn't deal with Charles and Walter? Actually, yes.
Jack doesn't let me put him down. And I lost my baby sling today.
Yeah.
So I've had to hold him all day, and if I set him down, he cries. So
yeah, we got to find the sling.
That's like the biggest thing. Walter and Charlie, even though they both had different personalities as babies, at night I could nurse them and put them in their own crib or rocker, and they would be fine. Jack insists on co-sleeping, which luckily I have a lot of experience with, but I don't really get any break from Jack.
And someone just had a great question. Who will tend the garden at Ursa Manor? Here's some awesome news. So we got her mom and aunt into chickens and gardening. So they're going to be gardening here, and so will our neighbors. Those are crucial seeds to plant in people because a lot of Amy's relatives are not, super woke, bro. But the fact that they're now enjoying chickens and canning and stuff is a huge win. And it seems to make them very happy. So the garden will get a lot of use and care. Oh, and check out Vox Day's stream tonight. Patreon has been trying to sue me for an exorbitant amount of money for months now. And although I knew that the odds were very low, it was still causing some stress and gave me a lot of insights, but that just got shot down by a judge today, so grateful. Amy's really grateful. But that's another thing about having a great wife is we had a great talk that if they take everything we have, we'll be okay. And when you got a woman that's like, we'll be fine, it's incredible. But they're not going to, they lost. I knew they were going to, it's almost like the opposite of a lottery ticket with some of these legal disputes. It's like, the odds are really low, but it's so devastating that you think about it a lot. Amy's the best. Yeah. It would matter. It's a way to reconnect to what matters. Where it's like if we're broke again, we're good. And she's like, yeah, we'll get by. We always get by, and that's given me a lot of peace because every man has terror that they can't provide for their family. But today we found out that was not happening. I haven't been really talking about it. I've just been talking about the insights I've gotten from it. About how if they were to do that, just devastate us financially. It's illegal on every single level, and it's been shot down by everybody. But that would be so evil that we would end up stronger for it somehow. But onward to Mailtaria. It's really humbling to every now and then be like, are we okay without any money? And we're like, yeah. Patreon overreacted because they knew they were guilty on something, and they opened the door for the Bears to all win their arbitrations. It's so poetic and beautiful what's happening. And this is important when you go into battle. Really know that your intentions are pure, because when your intentions are pure, like my intention was never to get rich off Patreon, ever. I don't care at all about that. I wanted to make a statement because they can't keep pushing people around. And when your intentions are pure, you can put it in, obviously it's always in God's hands, but you're like, whatever happens is supposed to happen, even if it's devastating at that moment. If your intentions are bad, you don't get that peace. You freak out. And so when we were dealing with some troll stuff and some authorities being sent here.
I'm going to take them upstairs.
Okay, cool. Any other questions for Amy? What about 5 months from now, point everything goes smooth? Legendary, yeah, sometimes you have to fight,
Did you want any more?
even if it costs you. Yeah, it's already cost me a lot, but they were trying to sue me for like millions of dollars. All right, yeah, love you guys. That's what makes you strong, is when your intentions are good. If my intention was money, I would have probably lost my mind, but it never was. And so, because even when the law is all on your side and precedent's on your side and everything, that's why the love of money makes people weak. But I'm so relieved that that's over now, you know? And that, because when your intentions are good, every move your enemy makes will hurt them. There's nothing they can do, you know? And it was like that when those trolls sent CPS to my house. Amy was like, you know, I was pacing and freaking out. And Amy was like, "You're a great father." I was like, "Thank you, love. I know." But she's like, "You're a great father. You have nothing to fear." And then you realize that all children are God's children. You get really spiritual when you face horrific acts by the wicked. You know, embrace it. But you have to have good intentions or you'll crumble. Yeah, until today, for the last several months, I didn't even want to talk about it because I didn't want to bum people out or make people scared. But Patreon was trying to sue me for all their costs, which is absurd. They were trying to say that all their costs for everything is because of me. That's like telling the ref to stop the game in soccer because someone kicked the ball in your goal. It's just so crazy. But that's the thing is people are crazy. But fortunately, the system doesn't operate on crazy. As much as people can bash the system, they do have rules, or else it wouldn't work. My wife is due in 4 weeks. It's a girl. I'm nervous, BB. Oh, you'll be great. Don't be nervous for Little Bear. Yeah, so absurd, just a big corporate. Well, that's what they've done to so many people, and I'm glad that we got to see through the veil. They get a lot of good people to stop fighting with threats of finance, like just empty threats, just bullying, just rich corporations trying to bully people. Thank God the courts are still honorable. Well, no, but see, that's the thing is it would undercut the authority of the court if any of this happened. If there's no rules in a court, no one needs a court. Then there's no purpose of a court. You have to understand is it's in their best interest to uphold their own laws, or else there's no court. We're suing you for the costs incurring around arbitration on other terms. Right, and other people that have nothing to do with me. It was just all bullying. And I'm not bullyable to my own detriment sometimes. Like when people try and bully me, I'm like, fine, I'll burn my own hand. I won't do it. BB, have you ever heard this song, All God's Children? No, I haven't. But thanks for everybody to stick with us. And it's looking really good for the Bears that stuck with everything. I mean, they're about to win a bunch of arbitrations, you know, hopefully, you know, God willing. But it's an open and shut situation. Patreon is just so, but they're still just a company. Like if they let me back on, I'd be like, great, dude, it's just a piece of paper. I'm not going to be personal about it. It's the lawyers. It's not even Patreon. It's their lawyers. Their lawyers are insane. If Patreon, it could have been one employee at Patreon that did all this damage. One. It's just a corporate. It's an empty vessel. It's just legal fiction. So like, just like when Vox beat Indiegogo, he's now doing more projects there. You know, I want them to grow. I want them to learn. I want them to put us back on and learn from their mistakes. That was the goal this whole time. That's why I could stay strong during it, because I wasn't trying to get rich. If I was trying to get rich, I would have been terrified the whole time because money would have been the goal. The goal is to send shockwaves through Silicon Valley and say, stop deceiving your clients. Stop deceiving your users. Stop cucking and submitting to a tiny band of psychopaths that use fake troll armies to scare you. And as soon as they do that, they'll be better off. We'll be better off. Everybody's better off. All right, that's all I want to talk about with that, but it was on my mind. I'm so relieved, guys. You have no idea. A lot of prayer. A lot of prayer. Like you start looking around your family and your house, and you're like, they want to take everything. And in these economic times, I've been facing for months the possibility that I will have $0. And here's the funniest part. I was still thinking of ways to keep Mailtaria money away from me so that we could still do campgrounds. That's hilarious. That's when you think these things, you trust yourself, where you're like, we'll be okay. Because no matter what, you'll get, if your intentions are good, no matter what they do, you're fine. They can't take what actually matters though. Exactly. And Amy was like, we'll get by. And see, when devastation like that happens, you don't know what that opens up. Like, what if we were like, we don't have a house, and then it takes us on another path in life that could be unbelievable. Like when people need each other, not need, but when communities are based on that level of financial requirement, they can get real close. Justice and truth are the loophole. Yeah, just hold the line. God's the highest arbiter. But fortunately, the American system is not bad. It's just like people don't know how to use it. They haven't been educated. Like, I don't think there's a one world government. I think there's a one world religion based around currency. That's why I think I'm going to vote. I think I'm going to vote for Trump. I've thought about it. I don't think there's a one world government. I think there's one world religion revolving around banking. And that's why it keeps appearing like there's a one world government, but it's not. And I think a lot of us are actually participating in a one world religion and not realizing it. It's Satanism, but the way our financial system works is a death-based, deception-based Ponzi scheme. And that's what unites the world under this psychotic thing. There's no one world government, though. Yeah, I think I'm going to vote for Trump. Not that he's a savior or an answer or anything. I just kind of want to, ever since this experience with the system, I kind of want the American government to just get better, because it's not broken. It's just corrupted by the people that are using it. Some of the evilest people on the planet know exactly how to use the American government, and they make sure that no one else does, using public school and just retardation tactics. So our government is actually, as far as governments go, it's really good compared to like El Salvador. So I'm not mad at it. I'm mad the way it's being used, the way the corporatocracy and all the powers are being manipulated is really bad. But it's just a hammer. And Trump not starting new wars has gone a long way with me. I know a little bar. No. I'm into it. I'm into it. And why not? I don't, because that's the thing. As long as you don't think he's a savior or something, I like Trump. I think he's funny. And I'm always going to be voting for local stuff like sheriff and stuff, so I might as well just throw one for Trump. It's always be corrupt, right? But it's just a tool. And I like Trump. Like, Biden's so bad that if he wins, God would have a plan, obviously. Like, that could bring some other awesome thing out of that chaos. But I don't know. I don't care at all about, that's not a little bar in my book. Yeah, I know. Well, it is if you think about the fact that not bombing innocent people is good. I get it. But for the American government, that's not a low bar. It's actually very incredible. He's no savior, but the choice is out. Yeah, well, the choice for me was either vote for Trump or not vote. And not voting is a fine decision because you're saying, I'm not going to participate in a corrupt system. I'm starting to not think that anymore. I think the system can work. You just don't know how to use it because we're intentionally not taught anything. Trump is like spending money in a lawnmower. Biden is like, and I don't know what that means. All right, what songs do you guys want to hear? It does say in the Bible, God puts the government heads in positions, so if Biden wins, it's his plan. Right, well, yeah, obviously. But I don't like Biden. All right, the bar should be bring people home, but considering the government, not new war is a big deal. It's their bread and butter. Right. Yeah, I don't like the government or politics, but since I can still vote in Washington, my vote could actually matter a little bit. Even 1 in a million. I don't care. I like it. Don't take my hope. Oh, but don't have any hope. Be a real truther and sit alone in a basement and just say everything's going to shit. I'm going to play Yeah, I'm going to vote for Trump. I'm going to have a blast. Because Washington is actually a state that could do something, you know? All right, I'm going to play Gunner's Dream. BB, welcome to the machine. Maybe. I'm going to play Gunner's Dream first. Floating down through the clouds, memories come rushing up to meet me now. But in the space between the heavens and the corner of some foreign field, I had a dream. Goodbye, Max. Goodbye, Ma. After the service, when you're walking slowly to the car, and the silver in her hair shines in the cold November air, you hear the tolling bell and touch the silk in your lapel. And as the teardrops rise to meet the comfort of the band, you take her frail hand and hold on to the dream. A place to stay, enough to eat, somewhere old heroes shuffle safely down the street, where you can speak out loud about your doubt and fear. And what's more, no one ever disappears. You never hear their standard issue kicking in your door. You can relax on both sides of the tracks, and maniacs don't blow holes in bandsmen by remote control. And everyone has recourse to the law, and no one kills the children anymore. No one kills the children anymore. Night after night, going round and round my brain, the dream is driving me insane. In the corner of some foreign field, the gunner sleeps tonight. What's done is done. We cannot just write off this final scene. Take heed of his dream. That's such a beautiful song. Yeah, and ever since kind of taking more of our future into our own hands with Mailtaria and with the lawsuit and all this stuff, I'm not bitter about what Trump hasn't done or anything anymore. The government doesn't really matter that much, but as far as systems go, I think the American government is just a lot better than most. You know, my mood has changed a lot. I used to have this manager that loved me because I always would bring work to my management company. You know, a lot of entertainers in Hollywood, like comedians and actors and stuff, they were always like calling their manager like, did you get me any roles or parts? I never, ever did that. It would always be like one of my friends from comedy calling them to work out a deal and them just getting me a really good deal. And they're like, dude, you're so easy. I just used them as a big name to get me a really good deal, but they got me nothing. And so I feel that way about the government. I'm like, you're not going to be in control of my life at all. I'm not going to stop, whether it's Biden or Trump or anarchy or communism or anything. Like Mailtaria is growing every day. There's nothing that can stop it. I know what we're capable of. I know what the government is capable of. I know how this is all working. And so after making those decisions, I started just being like, I'll probably just vote for Trump. And people are like, no, but he humiliated us. He didn't fix it. I'm like, do you want to stop abortion? Be a good dad. You want to stop abortion? Don't have premarital sex and then try and convince a girl to have an abortion. You want to stop pedophilia? Be a strong member of a community and call out perverts. Stop watching pornography. Stop supporting Netflix. Stop watching Disney. Stop watching Hollywood movies. That's how you stop it. But you're not willing to do that, are you? So you want someone else to do it for you. Yeah, does that sound familiar? And so, but the food crisis, just get a garden. It's insanely easy. You know, they're going to take our gun. No, they won't. They haven't yet. They haven't done a gun confiscation in Portland. You think they're going to take care of your own? Exactly, Birdie Bear. And I've become more grateful for the government we have because it works sometimes. There's recourse to the law here. It's just the morality in America is so broken. And the greed and the corporate scams and migration and all that stuff is so bad that sometimes we think that it's all the government's fault, but really they're just a one-eyed weenus trying to get by, you know. And so as far as presidents go, I like Trump. And now that I don't care at all, like I'll give you a good example. My mom does yoga. And we've had arguments about yoga because I said it's kind of culty. And she's like, it's good for my back. I've done it for 40 years. So her yoga instructor is now wearing a mask and like terrified. And my mom was really confused. My mom doesn't wear a mask. She thinks it's all ridiculous. And she was really confused. And she's like, my yoga instructor is so healthy. Like she's a vegan. She's all about, you know, the chakras and all that. I go, Mom, she saw it as a religion. That's what I'm saying about yoga. I'm fine with stretching and breathing exercises and all that stuff. The problem with yoga is these people see it as salvation. And that's wrong. So they're going to end up scared of dumb shit. My mom never did. That's why it's interesting having arguments with people like that, because I was like, Mom, don't do yoga. Don't do all that chanting. And she's like, it's very good for my body. and so she never saw it as a religion, and that's why it didn't affect her. Her yoga instructor saw it as a religion. Like it was like chanting and all this stuff and, you know, breathing to the chakra lords. I don't even know what the hell they think, but it's wrong. So, no, she doesn't do Kundalini, but all that stuff. Anything that you idolize is bad. And so the Trump hate and the Trump obsession comes from idolizing the government as God, in my opinion. Like all these people, they're like, I trusted in Trump. I thought he was going to put... Dude, I went through that where I'm like, Hillary ain't in jail. Everything's a scam. But I'm like, dude, it's just the government. It's just, dude, the government isn't any... It's not... It's just the government, dude. It's just... You know? They're not here to save anybody. It's just... It really is a lesser two evil situation, even though that's not a good way to think. But if you're actively doing a lot of shit in your life that's really good, it really doesn't matter. You're just like, I'd rather have Trump. All right. No, her instructor did. That was her false god. Right. Her instructor was in a religion called yoga. My mom was stretching and breathing. Christians shouldn't do yoga practicing Hinduism. Don't tell my mom what to do. It's stretching and breathing, or it's a religion. It depends on how you view it. A lot of quote-unquote Christians are in the religion of Satanism. And they call it Christianity because they blend in. But in reality, they're Satanists. They're literally horrifying. So if you view yoga as stretching and breathing, it's really healthy. If you view it as a religion, it's really bad for your mind. Everything is intent. Yeah. All right. What do you guys want to hear? What songs? Now open some mail. True BB, yoga became gay when it go... Right. Exactly. Yep. When you tell somebody that has a really bad back that was helped with yoga that they shouldn't do it because it's not Christian, I'm going to check your search history. And I'm going to see a lot of pornos, aren't I? Entropy on my phone. My phone's in the other room. I can go get it, though. Hang on. Let's just go together. It's not Christian. You want to know who used to say that it's not Christian to do yoga? It's Steven Crowder. Yeah, it's also not Christian to deny your wife children and to be like a homo. All right, and to lie for a living and to serve a foreign country covertly without telling your followers, Stephen. So I think stretching and humming isn't really the worst of your problems here. All right, we have some entropies. Oh, Arcade Fire Share. Song request, My Old Man. Oh, I love that song. Flowers in Your Hair by Lumineers. All right, I can check both those out, but I'm going to do Arcade Fire first. Yoga Behind the Dumpster, right? Yeah, I get how things can be corrupted, but so can anything. The biggest religion is money. Money is the world religion. That's the world, the New World Order. The one world government isn't government. It's financial religion. Golden Slumbers. Okay, cool. I'll start with that and then I'll transition. But I'm happy with the way the American system has worked so far. Someone just tried to sue me for $1 million and they got shut down. So thank you, American system. I'm not bitter. I'm so relieved, dude. That was very stressful. Once there was a way to get back homeward. Once there was a way to get back home. Sleep, pretty darling, do not cry. And I will sing you a lullaby. Golden slumbers fill your eyes. Smiles await you when you rise. Sleep, pretty darling, do not cry. And I will sing you a lullaby. Something filled up my heart with nothing. Someone told me not to cry. Now that I'm older, my heart beats colder. I can see that it's alive. Once there was a way to get back homeward. Once there was a way to get back home. Sleep, pretty darling, do not cry. And I will sing you a lullaby. If the children grow older and my heart beats colder, and I can see that it's alive. If the children grow up, their bodies get bigger, but our hearts get torn up. We're just a million little gods in this rainstorm, turning every good thing to rust. Can you tell a green field from a cold steel rail? A smile from a veil. Do you think you can tell? Did they get you to trade your heroes for ghosts? Hot ashes for trees, hot air for a cool breeze, cold comfort for change. Did you exchange a walk-on part in the war for a lead role in a cage? How I wish you were here. We're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl, year after year, running over the same old ground. Have we found same old fear? Wish you were here. I love that song. You want to hear a song that I've been thinking about lately? There's only one grabble in the whole song. Everything else is really, really powerful. And it's about everybody you're seeing right now in Hollywood. I always liked this song, but I didn't realize, I knew it was very accurate, but check this out. It's called MGMT's Faded to Pretend. It goes, is Kung Fu Bear here? He gets it. I'm feeling, let's do a different key. I'm feeling rough. I'm feeling rough, I'm feeling raw in the time of my life. Let's make some music, make some money, find some models for wives. I'm going to get the actual lyrics so I don't mess them up. Yeah. Time to pretend. All right. The only thing that's wrong is they're fated to pretend. They chose to pretend. Everything else it's exactly right. Is this in D? I'm feeling rough, I'm feeling raw in the time of my life. Is this gonna get too high for my stupid voice? I'll go a little lower. I'm feeling rough, I'm feeling raw. No, sorry. I'm feeling rough, I'm feeling raw in the time of my life. Let's make some music, make some money, find some models for wives. I'll move to Paris, shoot some heroin, and fuck with the stars. You man the island and the cocaine and the elegant cars. This is our decision, to live fast and die young. We've had this vision, now let's have some fun. Yeah, it's overwhelming, but what else can we do? Get jobs in offices and wake up for our morning commute. Forget about our mothers and our friends. We were fated to pretend. And listen to this. I miss the playgrounds and the animals and digging up worms. I miss the comfort of my mother and the weight of the world. I'll miss my sister, miss my father, miss my dog and my home. Yeah, I'll miss the boredom and the freedom and the time spent alone. But there is really nothing we can do. Love must be forgotten. Life can always start up anew. The models will have children, we'll get a divorce, find some more models, everything must run its course. We'll choke on her vomit, and that will be the end. We were fated to pretend. I mean, that's so true. It's just so good. Every line of that, it's like, I miss the weight of the world. I miss the time spent alone. You know, we'll find some more models. Everything must run its course. We choke on our vomit, and that'll be the end. We're fated to pretend. Oof. So many people right now are pretending. And it's that band was so self-aware, so young. Because I was thinking about Quantum of Conscious had a great video about the Adjustment Bureau and how that Matt Damon movie, there's a lot of truth in it, where these like, it was so funny because there are these guys in hats that can go in and out of any room and they rewrite the script and they're in control of everyone's lives. And Matt was like, I just don't get why they're wearing hats. It doesn't make any sense. I'm like, hats. He's like, but so these hats allow them to walk into any building or office or anywhere in the world, just in and out, and they're working for someone they don't quite understand. They're in control of all the narrative. But what's the hats? I'm like, hats, Matt, hats. Men in hats. If they were smaller, would you understand the reference? But anyway, so he was talking about the truth and yeah, Matt, it's like, so what's the deal with the hat? So when Matt Damon puts on the hat, he can walk in. I'm like, yes. It's a tribal hat thing. All right. So anyway, he was talking about how Matt Damon falling in love with that girl made him not stay on the script. And these men in hats are working for the chairman and they don't even know why. It's so true to real life. So the chairman is obviously Satan. And so all these guys are just kind of like controlling the narrative and controlling the deceptions and controlling everyone's life and what you're supposed to be. And all that it takes to get out of that is love. You know, what really changed me a lot is loving Amy and loving my baby for the first time. When we first had a baby, it was a game changer. It's like that love cut through so much that no matter how much the men in hats working for the chairman's script that they didn't understand, which is really how it is, they don't even know what they're doing, these people. I bet George Soros is just running on absolute reaction and fumes. If you just love someone, they can't really get to you. Like they keep rewriting and trying to do everything, and you're not operating in their world because they require people that are fated to pretend. And then in that situation, they control the narrative of your life. And if you love someone truly, like purely, like pure love, you know, like absolute love, then they just are like, how did you get out of that? You know, that's why I don't hate the hats. I get it. I get their role. And I get a lot of them aren't doing that exact role, but they're not to be feared. They're just not. They're just men in hats frantically writing scripts and serving narratives that they literally don't understand at all. It's like explaining to my friends at drill, it's the hats. Well, the hats are just the minions doing random narrative stuff that they literally don't even understand. That's why they can just kind of fade away in your mind. Can't wait to get love, man. Bill, you do have love for God. Love your creator. Love your mother. Like love. Like really, I'm serious. I'm not trying to sound kumbaya. I'm not a kumbaya guy at all. I'm just like saying that when you look at like when I was getting sued by Patreon, it was so like a devastating amount of money. Even though I was 95% sure I'd win, but it was still like when you sit with your woman and you say like, love, I might have zero after this. And she's like, we'll be okay. That's the type of love that cuts through the narratives. That's the type of love that the chairman, the master commander of this world, and the one you cannot see, as Bob Dylan said, he doesn't know what to do with that. He's like, why are you doing that? It's very, very irrational. That doesn't make any sense to the script. And that's all it is, you know. He who has God lacks nothing. Exactly. Yeah. It's so true, dude. And sometimes when you're faced with real fears, it shines through intensely. Or great moments like highs and big lows. All right, let me open some mail. I'm having a real thoughtful evening. I wonder if people who try to summon Satan in rituals actually invoke him into their plans. Oh yeah, well that's the thing, is everything becomes an irony. It's Faust. These things used to be taught to everybody. That whatever your wicked plan is, if you do it at Satan's bidding and not God's bidding, it becomes your own destruction. You know, you sell your soul for a Ferrari and then you don't get any gas. You can't get gas. The world runs out of gas. You eternal youth, but you live a life of such depravity that you fantasize about death every day. You know, these are the stories that people always knew, and now people, forgot. But it happens every time. Every time you have a wicked. That's why intention is so big. Like when you're doing something with high stakes or you're doing something scary, you seriously ask yourself, what is my intention? And don't lie to yourself. If your intention is good, no matter what happens, it'll be okay. If your intention is bad, no matter what happens, it'll be bad. Because if your intention is good, if you lose, it'll be a valuable lesson. And that oppression, that hardship will make you stronger and smarter. If you win, you just won. Great. But if your intentions are bad and deceptive, no matter what, if you win, you now have an expanding life and fortune based on a lie. So every aspect of it, it's a poison fruit from a poison tree. And if you lose, now you hate yourself and you're bitter and resentful and you regret everything. Like no matter what, like I wouldn't regret it though. Someone had to do something with these Silicon Valley companies. And I don't give a damn if I get a dime. I don't care at all. I would rather not be threatened to have anything taken from me and not get any money. Like I wanted to make a statement and I wanted to use the very systems and terms that they presented to stand up for our rights, our way of life, and show that you can't just treat people like animals. And because of that, I could stay strong even when things are horrifying because they would have to pay for persecuting a good man. There's no way out of it. This is where I've been getting a lot of these theories lately. A lot of my new insights. It's like I've been playing through every scenario in my head. Like, so what happens if they destroy the finances of a good family that thousands of people watch every day grow? Well, they have to pay for that. And we'll be fine. God provides and protects his people. Even if you're poor. Money does not protect you. God protects you. And everyone knows that if you actually are honest with life. We all know those rich people that sold their soul for these giant Malibu houses that are currently on fire. We all know that. It's a fact. Is baby God still safe? Yeah, he's in a Bjorn. All right, what is this? Howdy, Big Bear. Just watched your stream where you were emoting. I must tell you, it did me a world of good to see that aspect. I couldn't agree more about Truth Channel spewing despair. Lately, I'm finding it easier and easier to turn it all off and go watch my garden grow. Good for you. I get up between 4 and 6 and watch the sun come up and the birds and bunnies. Dude, that's it, man. Well, I know who really understands life is Tom Barnett, man. I've been listening to a lot of his videos. That guy is a very wise guy. Very wise, insightful person. I recommend that guy a lot. He gets it. All right, next spring, God willing, I will and have goats, chickens, and ducks to the scene. The garden is 85 by 25 feet, a raised bed of tomatoes and miscellaneous herbs here and there. Blackberries grow. I love it. Sounds like heaven. My neighbor has been pointing out all the edible plants and how to cook them. We plan on growing mushroom hunting in September. Life is good and God rocks. I'm 57, no kids, no cats, but I get to hang out with a neighbor's 2-year-old with exchange for a neighbor's 2-year-old with exchange for rent. What a great deal. Actually asking God for a husband with kids, even better. I don't know where to upload my bear trail video to not too keen on technology, but figuring it out now. Congrats on baby Jack. Been watching you and something. Thank you, Janie Bear. Thank you, Janie Bear. Your life sounds awesome. Email. I don't even know. Sorry, I'm a little brain dead. I've been working outside all day, and that Patreon thing was very, very, very relieving. So my brain's a little fried. You can email whydidn'ttheylaugh@gmail.com. I'm caring for him right now. Oh, cool. BB, can you play My Heart Will Trust by Hillsong? I don't know that one. I'll look into it, though. I'll get the email. Sweet God. Tom Barnett is great. I want him to make more videos, but he's probably just out crushing. Exactly. Like, he doesn't make a lot of videos, and he's such a crusher. I'm like, oh, man, I bet he's in just having a great adventure. He's like in the bush with just a tent. But I like how people keep trying to push crisis on him. They're like, we're really in a crisis. He's like, I don't know. He's like, I don't see it as a crisis. He's like, it's just another thing. And then everyone agrees with him, too. That's the funniest part is everyone's like, oh, yeah, totally. I mean, it is just another challenge. And he's like, all right. Because he's right. If you make it a challenge, if you make it a crisis, it's a crisis. But, you know, there's a lot of people that actually know crisis. Actual crisis. Not just the looming fear of a shot at the doctor. I get it. No one wants it. I'm not going to take it. But there's a lot worse scenarios. Do you know Wonder by Blind Melon? I don't. I know Changes. Oh, support at thegreatbeartrail.com. I think I have more entropy chats. Owen, can you play a Rush song? No. I never got into Rush. He always sounded like he was on helium. BB, can you get God's Country by Blake Shelton? Yeah, I don't know it, though. See, I don't want to like try and figure it out if I don't know it. I'll just sound like a retard. But that sounds good. Rush, I don't like Rush at all. Cheers to Bear. Oh, thank you, Cody, though. I appreciate you, brother. Rush always pissed me off. Because, like, everyone around me loved Rush all the time. Like, they're like, dude, Rush concert. I'm like, why? They're like, it's the best. We should make a catalog of songs BB knows. Rush sucks. But, yeah, I don't like Rush at all. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Dear Big Bear, I'm writing to you and to all the bears who have lost their jobs during this apocalyptic. I work for a privately owned company for 12 plus years, and in the end, I was axed without a second thought. My wife and 2 kids depend entirely on me for our family income. My message is this: no despair. I am doing my very best to fear God only. It's not easy, and there are times when I feel fear that I won't get another job with sufficient income to take care of my family. Oh yeah, we're just talking about that. I get it. At the end of the day, I know that I would not have left my former company voluntarily, and that God has a better plan for my family than I can imagine. Yeah, synchronicity. Yeah, if your intentions are good, you'll get through this. I'm not saying you're going to experience wealth and luxury in the next minute, but like your family will get closer for it, and there's a better plan for you. You and your family are an inspiration. Keep crushing and keep spreading the message of Logos, no despair. I have an idea of how to positively affect our culture. I've been looking for ways to politely break social distancing. Here are 3 examples. Family is a vacation taking pictures near a monument. Approach family and offer to take their picture for them with their phone. Lift a heavy item into someone's shopping cart for them at the store. Oh, this is genius. Yeah. Offer a service. Yep. Or reach something high up for them for an old lady. Hold the door open for a fat Tina and her quote-unquote life partner going into the store. I disagree with that one. Let fat Tina open her own door with her life partner. You made your bed, fat Tina. Now you sleep in your bed. But every other one, I love this. Much love from New Brunswick, Canada. All right. Sweet. Love it, buddy, and stay strong. You know, really bond with your wife. Show her that you love her. And, you know, don't be scared. Like, if you're acting scared and jumpy, she'll register that. So just, you know, embrace whatever challenge you have, and you guys will be closer for it. You know, a lot of me and Amy's biggest bonding happened when we were broke. And the world was trying to destroy us. That's why it's like if you're doing what's right, you'll get through it just fine. You have more value than that company is giving you. You just have to, you know, figure it out. I don't have any of the answers, guys, but those are the things I know. Everything else I have no idea. All right, Mailtaria. All right, this is a long one, so I'm going to read. Hang on. I want to thank you for this marvelous journey into the land of reality and out of Babylon. Every day I listen to your stream and I enjoy pearls of wisdom spread before my feet. I found you while walking as a night baker, as a night baker in the wilds of northern British Columbia, or what the grabblers all call BC. And at first, your comedy made my lonely nights a toil much less monotonous. Then when I discovered your fireside streams with White Claw and a drug-addicted bear, I couldn't get enough. Hilarious. I'm bringing a Sidekick Bear to Idaho. He's in a garbage can. He deserves to be in there. This began my true awakening and the ostracism from my family when I shared this magnificent information with them. I always suspected the moon landing was a hoax. Mother Earth news back. Oh, dude, Tom Barnett had good advice about that. Wait for them to ask you. Because family relationships are very important, you know? Waking people up is not as important as I once thought. You know, a lot of people are just in their own little trapped worlds and they don't see shit. So if there's someone you love and they love you and they're all like trapped mentally, just wait for them to ask you. Don't ever lie. Don't agree with nonsense. Just be cool about it, you know? Because I'm telling you, man, relationships are really valuable. I discovered the media were all liars back in the late 80s and knew the government was up to something no matter the color of their hats. I trusted that Harper fella who became prime minister. All right, let me, this is a long one, but I want to show respect, but I'm going to get to the, all right. Gotta go water my plants in the greenhouse that you inspired me to just do it and grow where you're planted. Toodles for now, Country Bear. www.healthyandwell.ca. Thank you. Very beautiful letter. I'll read it after. I'll read the whole thing, potentially. I keep writing a letter, but I'm really shy and keep rewriting it. Don't be. I used to get letters from a dude named Retard Bear that just would draw a dick and tell me I sucked. So that's the standard you have to beat. It would just be the picture of a dick. And I would just say, you suck. And then it would say, faggot bear. So if you can beat that, you're all set. Oh, thank you. Wow, that was very generous. Sweet. Mailtaria. There's no note. Oh, here we go. It's written on that. Dear Owen, this is my donation to Mailtaria. My name is Mitchell. I'm from Pittsburgh and plan to send photos of my present and future stretch of the Great Bear Trail. I want to make this short and just say I love what you're doing. Keep up the great work. Truth is ours. All right, let me write down. I don't know how to. You didn't put your name on the envelope. You didn't put your address or name on the envelope, my friend. I'll remember you. Just remind me. I do appreciate it, though. It doesn't seem like you care at all, which I respect. BB, I learned a lot from these letter responses. Yeah, this is like Dear Abby, except it isn't designed to destroy the American family. And guys, I get why people think things are scams, given how many grifters there are in the world. I have sympathy for that. But to look at someone like me and think it is ridiculous. Like, provably not. So you're the one doing that to yourself. It has nothing to do with me. But I do understand it. You know, a lot of people like put all their faith in grabblers and Candace Owens and stuff. But, you know, I'm not trying to judge, but maybe you could have discerned a little better. Dear Big Bear, 6'0" bear finally writing again. I must apologize as I haven't written since the winter which we survived. Want to know how you know something is a scam or not? And this has nothing to do with me per se, but this will help you in your life. Can you see what they're doing with it as they're doing it? Like if someone's like, we have to raise money to raise awareness for breast cancer. That's like, what is that? There's nothing there. You know, if someone's like, we're raising money for the baseball team's going to get a bus. That's like beginning, middle, end. If something has a coherent like line of attack and it's like, this is what we'll use the money for. This is a, dude, that's how you know. It's really that simple. If someone's like, send money to Dennis Prager because he's fighting it out with YouTube. Really? I mean, guys, I've been fighting it out legitimately with legitimate legal cause, and I haven't done any of that shit because it's like, I mean, I would if I had to. I'd let you guys know, but that's all nonsense. He's a liar. He wants to. He banned my videos after I started criticizing Israel. He's a liar, and it's the same with all these guys. You know, Tommy Robinson. All these guys. They're like, give us money so we can save the West. Okay, what are you using the money for? I'm telling you guys, right now we have a functioning website that offers a way for bears to show businesses. They need jobs. Like that dude who just lost his job can post it on their bear trail. And people can be like, oh, that guy might have my same morality and I want to help out a fellow bear in group preference. We've been working on this stuff for years. You know, single bears trying to find someone to date, you know, places where people are growing food. Okay, on top of that, I'm buying a piece of property in North Idaho that people who donated at least $400 will always have access to camp on. If you run the numbers, that's a great deal. Camp spots can be expensive, and in the future, it will be less available for people. Everybody will have an ability to camp there, but those people will always have a spot to camp. These are the things that I promised from the beginning, and you can see exactly where it's going and how much it costs and how much I raise and the value versus what tax money, what I just accomplished would be $50 million of your labor. To build a functioning website, the government would require you to work for 25 years of your life and then kill your own dad. To buy land that is not for my personal use, but for bear weddings, bear get-togethers, camping, highly vetted, private, no outside nonsense. Dude, this is what it is. And so I'm not laying this out to pitch me per se. It's to help you in the future. If someone's like, send me money to raise awareness for disease or cancer. Well, what are you doing with the money? Oh, cancer. We're going to, figure out cancer. So what's the money for? Well, first we rent out big suites and have giant parties. And then we get more money to figure out cancer. What do you do with that? Well, then we can rent a plane and a yacht to get more fundraisers. What does that money do? Then when does it get to the cancer? Well, this is the thing, is after we get the yacht, we get the big boys in there, and then we use that money to get a foundation that can push pedophilia. And people are like, so when do you spend it on the cancer? They're like, what are you talking about? No. We have 100 people on staff, and they're all getting 6 figures a year. We need constant partying and booze to get more money to research the cancer. Don't you want to stop cancer? Dude, okay, this is Mailtaria. You guys start your own Mailtarias. Don't donate to me if you're short on money at all. It's more important that you do it for yourself. You get on the bear map, you make friends with other bears, we decentralize, you guys make stuff, grow stuff, communicate, trade, barter. Meanwhile, I'm buying land right now in North Idaho for right now camping, and in the future it would be weddings and receptions and get-togethers and outings and yada, yada, yada. Okay, that's it. You can see where it all goes and what it is. And this is somebody who's just soliciting donations from his D-Live channel. Okay, every dollar is going to what I'm saying it is. If I had bad intentions, it would implode on myself. You understand that? These moral ethics can't be tricked. If I were to fundraise for Mailtaria and I stole it and I did not do it for what I wanted, I promise you, God would deny me of what I could have done with that, and I would lower trust and trust with myself. And whatever I bought with it would end up hurting me or poisoning me. Guys, I'm 40. I've watched this happen about 50,000 times. And so if you think building a big structure in North Idaho in the winter, for me, is just like stealing, I highly suggest you do it. Like all these ANCAPs that are waiting for the government to fall for them to start ANCAPing. Why don't you go build in North Idaho with like wood and chainsaws and stuff and look at land and buy the land and pay the tax on all of it and work out how insurance works and all that, and then deal with all the trolls and the nonsense and the freaks. You do that. Be as honest. There's no other way. Guys, any other way. Sometimes I think really smart. I'm not going to brag. Sometimes I do that when I get compliments. I'm not going to keep bragging. That's all I got. And in the future, you'll look, like right now, unauthorized. It's you're looking at it, you're like, wow, what a great idea. Everybody, cancel culture, everyone's getting kicked off. Dude, normal people are trying to start websites now because YouTube is acting like everybody. And so it's like, oh, Big Bear, you're such a time traveler. It's like, well, we saw it, we didn't lie, we made it, and now we have a great thing years ahead of schedule. I totally trust you. It's great. Okay, so now we're doing the Great Bear Trail. No, it's definitely a scam. It's like, why would I scam that? It's like, well, you clearly just want your own random piece of land in North Idaho for your own antics. Like, what could I do in that piece of land that I couldn't do in my own piece of land in North Idaho? Like, what do you think I get out of buying a big piece of land in North Idaho? Well, that's so you can frolic and have your lollipops. And then in 3 years, when all the parks are really expensive or enforcing nonsense, and we have our own park, they're like, wow, Big Bear, you're a time traveler. You're really... It's like, no, it's simply not lying. And I'm telling you guys this because everybody can benefit from this knowledge. Every time a year later, how did you see that BB? Right. When you don't have an agenda, like you don't have a trick, like you're like, what I'm really going to do, if you might be wrong, but you're not lying type thing, right? Where you're like, this is what I see, this is what I'm going to do. That's way, way more likely to be good than if you're like, what I'm really going to do. And so that's why everyone's like, Big Bear, you just keep revolutionizing everything. Like, look at what Vox has done with his library. You know, he's got like this huge online book business now. And everyone's like, wow, so lucky. It's like, no, he saw a demand. He did a really good job with it. He didn't skim his money and fake it and lie. And his audience trusts him. And so people are like, wow, so lucky. So what's up next? And then we have our next thing. It's like, it must be a scam. Someone's probably going to try and run off to Ibiza. Just ask yourself, what could I possibly be doing in a piece of land alone in North Idaho if I don't have community? That sounds awful. I already have a family and land in North Idaho. So why would I go to another piece of land by myself? Well, you could bring your buddies. Oh, the buddies that I just lied to, you think they'd still be my buddies? This is why people end up alone. So land in North Idaho requires buddies and get-togethers, or else it's literally just an empty space with no cities at all, just like the sound of an eagle in the distance. It's like, well, you import your other buddies. Buddies don't like buddies who scam people. No one sits around and go, mwahaha, you got all these really good family people to trust you, and then now we have our barren land. Mwahaha. Dude, the assumption of scam constantly is why people destroy themselves. Like Patreon couldn't conceive of guys that weren't doing it to extort money from them. So every move they made was to try and intimidate us with money so we'd quit and apologize. We're not doing it for money. Uh-oh. All right. That's all I got for that. But just work it out. Like, this is how you can avoid grifters. Like, when Steven Crowder is a traditional conservative and you're like, wait a minute, the gay guy with no kids who keeps promoting Israel? And then he's like, well, we're fighting censorship, but yet he's still on YouTube with ads? Guys, everybody's been kicked off YouTube that doesn't put their videos on private after. Okay, the fact that he's not only allowed on YouTube, but he's promoted and he has ads. So what do you think he's doing with the money? You think he's actually fighting YouTube? No. He's fucking YouTube. Fuck. He fucks them. People that make fair deals can be trusted in future deals. Right. That's why my wife trusts me. That's why when I'm going through a hard time, my wife is like, we'll get through it. Imagine if I was a scumbag. Imagine if I was a liar. Imagine if she keeps catching me trying to get that stinky on my hang low. That doesn't happen. Your wife ends up resenting you and sabotaging you. Do you understand that you can't escape morality? So just put it to bed. When people are like, it's a scam, that only hurts the scammer. When people look at my family, they're like, wow, they're so tight. His children, they listen to him, and his wife really respects him. It's like, yeah, because I'm not disrespecting and lying to her. I'm not abusing her. That's always the outcome, guys. If you lie and abuse and scam and sneak and are dishonorable with your people, they won't treat you well. Like, it's all good. People will learn. People will learn. The winter will be cold. Let's get back to old school ethics, God's world. There's no way to get around it. We're already still in it. We're just watching people humiliate and destroy themselves because they think that we lost. Let me show you a picture, and then I'll relax a little bit here. They don't realize they're losing as they're doing it. That's the thing that I hope people start understanding, which I think they do. But I got a lot of these insights from this this Patreon thing, like them trying to take everything from me. It made me comfortable with having nothing, which scary, obviously, but it gave me a lot of insights. Okay, look at this image really quickly. I'm going to read some more mail. A little Mailtaria. Check this out. Okay, like this girl here, right? Check this out. It says, your grandmother at 25, husband, 3 kids, expert cross-stitcher, active in church, skilled cook, presiding over a happy and healthy household, woke woman at 25, passed out, drunk, slice of pizza as a pillow, stunning, brave. All right, they're paying right now. It's so freeing when you see it, that their choices do not affect you. Your future is not linked to these people. Like right now, that girl is like, abortion's free. You know, she probably is like, thinks she's killing it. She's like, I'm free. She's not, at no point are they free. They're only hurting themselves. Like right there, she doesn't even realize what she's giving up. More women now want to be like my wife than that. Like women love my wife. Like it's so hopeful to see how many women are like, Amy, how do I make sourdough bread? Women see the trick now. We're going to see a huge increase of women who want a good man to marry them and give them actual protection, actual wealth, actual love. Your future is not linked to them as gravy. Yeah, because so many people are scared because they look around at how lost people are and they think if they don't wake up that their life is going to be bad. As soon as you realize that isn't the case, your frantic anxiety of like, why won't people see it? Why won't people wake up? It goes away. Because you're like, they're just hurting themselves. You're just watching people do this. The fact that they lie to themselves and pollute themselves and humiliate themselves is not leading to your demise. It actually, if you have the awareness of it, you get to live your life better because you see what happens. At all times do they hurt themselves when they do it. And they know it. I get letters from women all the time. They're like, I believe the lie of feminism and now I'm alone. I'm 50. I'm alone. And that's why now they're redoing it. Like that woman I just read where she's like, you know, I love my neighbor. I get to hang with my neighbor and garden, you know, no kids. That's just any movement in that direction is joy. Any movement in the other direction is despair. And so women, even when they wake up and realize they believed a psyop of feminism and that men wanted to hold them down, and guys, it's so evil that was pushed on women. Where it was like, you know, oh, I need to be free. You know, the husband just wants to hold the woman back from really pursuing her job as a $30,000 a year marketing analyst who is about to be fired for no reason. It's like Amy's a queen. And I'm like a controversial, like, outcasty comedian type. Imagine if she just had like no, don't get me wrong. I'm her guy. Like, she loves me. Like, she's made for someone like me. But if you're like a really good carpenter or something, you can provide an incredible home for a woman. Incredible. They will want for nothing. But yet you see these women sleeping on the street like, freedom! Look at you. And guys, what they want, the fact that people have abortions does not affect you. And here's the irony. When you have this peace in you where you're like, well, I'm just going to be as good as I can. I'm going to spread the word about what it is and, you know, be a good father, have as many kids as I can. That lowers abortion rates. You getting really, really angry scares sheep and makes them think that you're crazy. It's fascinating. The fact that happens does not hurt you, it hurts them. And that baby goes back to God. That baby doesn't, like, it was done to the baby. baby's innocent. When you understand how powerless we are to corrupt the world for our own benefit, it's really, really peaceful. Dude, hilarious. I've been adding to me and my girlfriend's home for about a year. Nice. All right. 6 foot nothing bear. Then I got so busy and didn't have any office stationery. Finally, getting a lull in work so I can write. Being too busy is a blessing because it just gets us that much closer to being able to leave this beast system. Also, just before Corona hit, I got this hilarious flyer from a local gym, but now I can't find it to send to you. It was aimed at younger ladies and pictured a girl in a hijab doing squats with 2 plates on each side. The marketing company was fruitless since gyms were closed by Corona, but we're crushing on. You know, Justin Trudeau was imposed a gun ban on us. You can be proud to know that a bear is one of only 9 people willing to put their name on a legal action to attempt to have this ban overturned. We need prayer and support. Of course, great work, by the way. Do that. If anyone, and obviously just don't give up your guns. What they say doesn't matter. Got to be up at 3:30. All right, peace, brother. If anyone wants to know more about what we're doing to stop them from taking our AR-15s, you can find me at Social Galactics at 6 foot nothing bear. By the way, if you're willing to give up your gun to a corrupt government stealing it from you and not just using the gun, it's pointless for you to have the gun anyway. The gun gives you no freedom. Guns don't give you freedom anyway. God gives you freedom. But all these people are like, but then they'll come take my guns. Oh no, the mayor of Chicago just banned protest in front of her house. That's so hypocritical. Well, typically protests were not legal. That's the point of a protest. When Gandhi did his salt march, you realize that was because there was a ban on salt. So he and his buddies went to the ocean, got the salt, marched back and said, fuck you. That's the whole point of a protest. A protest that's allowed is just a way to allow little babies to go to bed. You know, if you're like, I need my gun to protect myself from a corrupt government. It's like, man, the corrupt government is taking my gun. Here you go. Well, you're currently holding a gun. And wasn't that the whole point? But I like where your head's at. Fight it that way. Violence is always the last option. And a very weak option, unless it's your last option. But they don't usually do this stuff if people are willing to use their guns. It's like time travel. It's like if you're willing to not quit, if you're like, you're not taking this gun, they're not going to try. They only do it when it becomes so obvious that people are like, man, but I play make-believe that I'm going to fight a tyrannical government with my gun. It's like, give us the gun. It's like, okay. Then the gun was nothing. It was a piece of metal. It was a paperweight. You're playing games. You're playing games. Anyway, I'm proud to be part of standing up against this government. I'm excited to hear that you had a 3rd boy, and I'm hoping we can get a 3rd on the way soon. Also, Corona has actually been such a huge blessing for us that I might be able to quit working in the next year and get a homestead running. I went and bought a side of beef last weekend on a farm nearby and told the old farmer he was doing what I want to do. The guy's in his 70s running beef on 500 acres by himself. He said no one wants to work because the pay sucks. I told him I don't need money. I need skills and next year, so I'll probably go work for him next year. Oh, dude, genius. Exactly. Exactly right. You're making all the right calls. And then in a few years, when you have all this beef and food and crushing, and people are just using, this may not happen, by the way. I'm just saying that this could happen. Using, fiat currency as kindling, or they're just accepting anything shoved down their throat, they're going to be like, man, you're so lucky. It's like, no, you were willing to do what needed to be done at the time. I find it a little overwhelming and promise I'll get you something better in the near future. Oh, don't worry about it. I want to get this out to you, and I'm not doing an ATM run. Dude, don't worry about it, bro. I like the letter. God bless your family is in my prayers. Also, what Curtis Stone was awesome. I've been watching him for ages, too, and lovely to see you two connect. Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad you're signing that petition. Most people are sheep, and we need sheep for wool. Guys, don't get mad at the sheep. The sheep, they're sheep. There's always been sheep. Sheep produce wool. Don't kill the sheep. Don't get mad at the sheep. Lead the sheep. A lot of people are shepherds, and they're mad that all the other sheep aren't shepherds. They're like, why aren't you a shepherd? Why don't you know? You don't know where to go. It's like, they're sheep. Well, that's no fun. Well, they give you wool. Well, okay, so what does that mean? It means if you just take care of them and show them shit, they're very productive, and they're cool. They're not, like, mean or anything. They produce lambs. Oh, right, I know. That's a little dark in the metaphor, though. You know, I no longer see sheep as an insult. Evil is an insult. Wicked. But sheep just do what everybody tells them to do. It's just what they do. They're almost like whores looking for a new pimp. They're like, will you be my daddy? You're like, I don't want to be your daddy. Like, okay. You don't want my wool? Everyone's like, the sheep need to wake up. It's like, imagine screaming at an actual sheep to wake up. That's what it is. And people are so detached from the real world of homesteading and food and stuff that they don't really understand the nature of animals. It's like, wake up, sheep. And the sheep are like, don't you want the fucking wool? Just tell me where to go. Shaniqua does the rubber boot thing. So us that see have a responsibility. No, you don't. You don't have any responsibility to the sheep. Just understand their nature. That they're not a threat to you. They're literally just sheep. If you are good to the sheep, they give you wool. And I mean, literally, they just need leadership. You can change a sheep's mind in like an hour of just calm talking. Especially if you're tall. They're like, you're taller. I'm going to follow you now. We're bears, dude. We're not sheep. Bears are a different breed. Bears are cool and hilarious and cuddly and family-oriented, but they're also fucking vicious psychos. We're not sheep. You don't herd bears. You know? You never see a herd of bears. So understand we're bears, they're sheep. That's it. All right, dear Big Bear, my name is Bass Drum Bear, and this is the first letter I've written you. In fact, it's the first handwritten letter I've sent in years. I started watching your content around this time last year after seeing you do a guest appearance and sang How to Love a Woman. So I checked out your streams breaking down Time Magazine fear and control tactics, which explains how they do it, and your stream about the Wizard of Oz, which explained why they do it. It began to lift the wool over my eyes. You understand this, right? And I realized, wow, this guy gets it. I'm not saying this person's a sheep. I'm just saying the metaphor was pretty interesting. Great point. Sheep help the rest survive with less issues. You just have to accept people's natures. Like Vox is more like what animal would he be? He's like a cross between like a cat and like I don't know. Just like they're always they're like way out there killing shit. You don't really know what they're doing. And then they every now and then show up and they're like, hey man, and you're like, what's up? And then they just go kill and then like think about all the different that's why people used to have spirit animals, because it's like people do kind of act like different animals. Fox is a fox. Yeah, I can see that. But he's not a henhouse guy. He's more of he's a killer. Fox is a black leopard. I don't know that much about black leopards. Sheeps are more afraid of separation than death. Exactly. They are. That's what motivates them. Since then, you were banned from YouTube. It only made you grow and become stronger. You brought Patreon to their knees and at the same time brought a new son into the world. My letter is to send congratulations to you and your family. Wonderful person. Wonderful person. I've learned and changed a lot thanks to you, avoiding grabblers, growing cucumbers and radishes. Now I'm learning to pickle vegetables and make frozen meals. I will continue towards this and pray God will provide the bear community with growing food, getting married, and starting families. Lovely man. Is this a man? Yeah. Thank you, and attached to some homesteading and or Mailtaria supplies, I will write you again soon. Regards, Bass Drum Bear. That's why the bear community is so awesome, because bears are awesome. And it perfectly describes our vibe. where it's like we like to eat berries and just look at salmon and play with the salmon. And if we're not hungry, we're really cool to be around and kind of hilarious. But like every now and then, if you cross our cubs, we'll fucking dismantle your face with our claws and we'll fuck up Leonardo DiCaprio. And then we'll just let him live with his injuries. In the middle, it's reference to a movie. I didn't really do that to Leonardo DiCaprio. Yeah, you don't corner a bear, exactly. Bears just kind of want to do their thing. And, you know, unless you fuck with them or their kids, and then they'll viciously rip you apart. The black bears, they like to pick through the garbage. All right, this will be my last letter. The reason it sticks so hard is because it's so accurate. It's a valid identity. It's like, yeah, I'm very bear-like. You know, it's like, don't come between a mama cub and her bears and her bear cubs. Doesn't matter who you work for. Doesn't matter if you call someone a bigot, racist, homophobe. Don't do that. You know, and the daddy bear is like, he sleeps a lot. He's grumpy, and he like likes to look for fish and berries, and he likes to crush with his buddies. But he'll fucking run you down and rip your face off if you want to be a little asshole. Dear Big Bear, may this letter find you and yours well, and congratulations on the new addition to your wonderful family. As I write this, I'm watching episode 924, and I want to thank you for sharing so much of yourself with us. Never apologize for doing what's hard, because that's what it means to be a man. Yours is not the first story I've heard about someone getting kicked out of Hollywood. My acting coach, Silvana Gallardo, was kicked out back in 2006. And looking back, it makes sense why. She was very inspired by Jesus and helped all of her students connect with their true selves. She helped them cut through all the bullshit. Most importantly, she taught everyone to live by the motto, I am enough. Oh yeah, that's why she got kicked out, obviously. That's like death to the grabbler. It is an empowering message, and it gives you the strength to stand up to all the nonsense in the world. Life is not about appeasing strangers. It is about living for the ones you love. I come to you as a newly married, proud bike owner of over 21 Rogans. I am a true Sigma. Usually they don't say it, but that's okay. And have been my whole life, no gamma squirting. I am often very content doing my own thing. However, after you started walking your talk by suing Patreon, starting Mailtaria, I knew I had to be part of what you were doing. You are a true guiding light in this world, and I hope to share some of the light in my little corner of it. Awesome, thank you. I don't really... Sometimes I don't know. I don't know how the social sexual hierarchy always works. Usually Sigmas don't say they are, but I don't know. Doesn't matter. This guy sounds awesome. For a long time, I was an atheist. I studied economics in college, and after learning all of the nonsense, I started studying the Austrian School of Economics. I was also into Ayn Rand at the time. This led me to becoming an anarcho-capitalist and regular viewer of Stefan Malny. I woke up to 9/11 in 2010 and have been into conspiracy theories or the truth ever since. Even so, I could still not acknowledge the existence of God. For that, I have you to thank. I started watching the Dark Stream with the Supreme Dark Lord after Malny interviewed him. And when Vox started working with you, I knew you were for real. You introduced me to the world of V. Michael Jones, and for that alone, I cannot thank you enough. I've chosen to follow him and my wife into that Catholic church, but you are the one that showed me the beauty and hope that God promises. Awesome. I'm well aware that many of the Catholic churches are grabbled. It's about truth. Is the person saying true things or not? It's that simple. Don't worry about titles and stuff. Just, is that true? Is that guy saying a true thing? Is he accepting an obvious lie for money? That's the only thing you have to care about. The community of the church is really important. Don't worry about titles. And the USCCB is full of awful pedos and grabblers. However, the serpent was in the garden and Judas followed Jesus. I won't let these perverts keep me from experiencing the beauty of God. Awesome. Nor should you. An institution is only as good as the people that compromise. Yes. Yes. And I intend to make the church a better place with my participation. I like it, buddy. While I'm no longer an ANCAP, I still find an anarchy beautiful. It works on a small scale. It's how you should live. Non-aggression principle, the natural law, in small groups works great. Outside of that, it doesn't. High trust, small groups, that's how you should normally live your life. You shouldn't like steal money from people with a gun and say it's going to go to a road. But the government is a thing that is always going to exist. You get it. I don't need to reiterate this. Therefore, the closer we get to God, the closer we get to anarchy. Yeah, because when you submit to his law, that's the only time you're ever really free. Good point. Anyone who seeks to impose their laws upon you wants to be your God. Laws never apply to those
that write them. They do sometimes, but because God is pure good, he does not need laws. We, however, were created good, but are broken, and the only way we can get close to being fixed is to follow God's law. The more we do that, the less we need earthly power structures over us. Yes, the more you follow God's law, the less government laws affect you at all. And people still get persecuted and shit. I'm not saying that there isn't innocent people fucked with all the time, but like, that's true. That's totally true. That the government is there for people that need it. And that's why it's always going to be there. You know, that's why when I asked Stefan Molyneux to explain how he would stop child sex trafficking and he couldn't, I realized that he was full of shit. And I never listened to him ever again. Because I was right and he was wrong. And the fact he accepted it because he wouldn't face that, it's like, well, children though. I mean, no, I'm like, no, that's a contract. Someone has money, someone has a desire. Free market. Why can't a 10-year-old sell his mouth to an old man for money? Oh, but that's just clearly an adult. What makes an adult? Puberty? So 13? No. The brain isn't done maturing until 25. Okay, so little Stefan Molyneux, when he was still under his mother's care at 24, he couldn't do anything for himself? No. But without morality, there is no system that works. Anarcho-capitalism is pure, unadulterated Luciferianism without morality. There is nothing that would stop a contract between two people that said, I got a mouth, I'm 10, you got a dick and $100. Obviously, we all know that's wrong. That's why I'm using that as an example. How in anarcho-capitalism, without breaking the non-aggression principle, can you stop that exchange of goods? Well, it's clearly wrong. I mean, according to what? You now sound like the government. Why is it wrong? I thought it was about supply and demand, pure anarchy, no government, free market. If someone has a need, and a lot of these old bastards have a need, and someone else has a, ability to do the need for money, and the 10-year-old be like, I need money. I want money. And then someone's like, but you're too young to make that decision. So then at what age? Puberty? You want to go that route? 12? 13, 14. When is a boy a man? You understand? It's total fucking nonsense. That's why there's only one law. It's the moral law. And ANCAPs get so butthurt. They're like, you're worried shit. And I'm like, oh, so you're a liar. You're just a liar. You're willing to throw a child under the bus. You're willing to accept child pedophile sex trafficking so that you don't appear wrong. Really? That's what you're going to do? That's pure evil. If you know that your system can't stop child sex, no one can even stop that. Like, let's say I'm a neighbor and I'm like, dude, that's fucked up. You're about to hook up with that 10-year-old? And the 10-year-old's like, I want it for the money. My family's really broke. And the old man's like, this is free exchange. And I go over and I fuck that guy up. And in ANCAP society, I'm the criminal because I stopped free exchange. Non-aggression principle. But that doesn't apply to child sex. Why? What age? Is it because it's wrong? Well, some people think marijuana is wrong. Now you understand why government exists and why anarcho-capitalism is a Luciferian daydream, a squirt machine. And if you can't use your system to stop child sex trafficking, I want nothing to do with your system or you, and you're not allowed at my barbecue. I hope I have explained that well, at least well enough to be verified as Sweetanarchy Bear. Yeah, welcome. Great letter. Thank you for all you do, Big Bear, and keep crushing. Please find enclosed a Babylonian mystery square for Mailtaria and some silver for you and the family. Thank you. No, it's an awesome letter. Yeah, and I have anarcho-capitalism instincts. I don't like telling people what to do. I don't like institutions bullying people. Obviously, everyone kind of has that. That's why everyone that's pretty cool of a person goes through a libertarian phase. Because you're like, yeah, just let people do their thing. Everyone's good. No, they're not. Everyone is not good. There's a lot of people that are really, really, really bad. And until you face what evil is, like the James True philosophy that evil isn't real, no, it's real. And the people pushing that evil isn't real are typically up to no good. All right, final song, and then I'm out of here. Oh, someone made me this. Hang on. Look at this. Isn't that awesome? Metalwork. I got to read that letter. Someone please save that clip. What a perfect statement. Oh, dude, I put it on YouTube a year and a half ago. Thousands of hits. 2 Stefan Molyneux. His like Followers sent it to him. He wouldn't respond. Do you understand how crazy that is? That you won't be like, wow, I was wrong. Only God provides morality. Everything else is horror. And what they choose doesn't affect you. You rape a kid, that's on your soul, not mine. I'll stop it the best way I know how, and that is being a strong father, community person, and speaking the truth and pushing real morality from the actual source. That's the most effective thing I can do. You sent me a good piece of news, Kynes and Bear. All right, 1 second. Nice. Awesome news. Thank you, Kynes and Bear. All right. Because everyone's on their different path, man. Don't think that a pedophile can ruin a kid. It just sends them on a different path. Horrifying. I get it. But the wicked always pay. They always pay. Look away from the sinners or you risk being... Right. Yeah. I think atheism comes from daddy issues. Yeah. It's 100% daddy issues. It's, daddy failed me. You're my sky daddy failed me too then. True got to hang with everyone's attitude. Yeah. All right, what do you guys want to hear? Give me a fucking song request. All right, so you guys want to hear Final Cut? I can play that. Yeah, it doesn't break the kid. That gives pedophiles way too much power. So many people are... We know it causes a lot of damage. It's horrifying. We get it. But to say that they have that power, oddly... let's talk about something else. All right, I'll play the To Build a Home. This will be a good one to close on. There is a house built out of stone, wooden floors and walls and windowsills, tables and chairs worn by all of the dust. This is the place where I feel at home. This is the place where I don't feel alone. And I built a home for you and for me until it disappeared from me and from you. And now it's time to live and turn to dust. Out in the garden where we planted the seed, there is a tree as old as me. Branches were sown by the color of green. Ground had a rose up past his knees. By the cracks of her skin, I climbed to the top. I climbed the tree to see the world. I love when the gusts came around to blow me down. I held on as tightly as you held on me. as tightly as you held on me. And I built a home for you and for me until it disappeared from me and from you. And now it's time to live and turn to dust. I love that song. All right, final song. Let's do one more. I appreciate all of you. Thanks for your time hanging. Oh, I appreciate all you too. Shaniqua. Oh, Shaniqua crushes. Shaniqua O'Toole is an old school bear. One second. All right, guys. I think I'm going to land the plane. I got a lot of stuff I got to do. I will do more of these piano streams soon, though, so stay tuned. But unauthorized.tv, thegreatbeartrail.com, unbearablesmerchandise.com, dlive.tv/OwenBenjaminComedy. On Instagram, I'm BigBear3366911. Be fruitful, multiply, don't be fruity and bull guy. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Much love, and thanks for everything.